Vladimir Anisimov, and I'm Chief of Laboratory Department of Carcinogenesis and Oncogerontology, Prof Research Institute of Oncology in St. Petersburg. My department involved in basic research for preclinical trial of new drugs, for evaluation of efficacy of geroprotectors, at study of anti-carcinogenic and anti-tumor potential of geroprotectors. In our lab, first it was discovered effect of phenformin on aging and cancer. First paper in English was published in Gerontology in 1980 with Professor Dillman, who first proposed to use metformin, anti-diabetic biguanides, for cancer prevention. We discovered not only anti-cancer effect, we discovered that metformin prolonged lifespan and decreased the incidence of age-associated diseases. Then, in 2005, in experimental gerontology, we have published a paper on metformin effect on the lifespan. It most cited my paper at present, because since 2005, people have a burst of interest in the effect of metformin, because it's one of the most prescribed medicine for treatment of diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus incidence is rising in the modern mankind, modern world. And it was published recently that metformin alone therapy with metformin increased 15% survival in comparison to health control. It was like wonder, because in experiment we have the same data much yearly, but it's not so often huge population of humans. People receive the same result. It's good for future, for developing fight-aging medicine, because we know not only metformin, but some other drugs, phenformin, buformin, much more effective as anti-tumor. Maybe they will have effect on aging also. Second, very fruitful approach is that combination, metformin plus rapamycin plus melatonin, because aging is not one single mechanism. It's complex. This desynchronization of orchestra, homeostasis. That each of these drugs have each particular mechanism. Some of them is common. For example, protein kinase mTOR, melatonin, resveratrol, rapamycin, and metformin inhibit mTOR, protein kinase activity. But each of these drugs have specific effect. Metformin increases susceptibility to insulin, decrease the level of glucose. Melatonin is best antioxidant. It's very important. Melatonin also works as synchronizer of circadian rhythms, because it's like camerton or orchestra. Resveratrol is antioxidant. Polyphenol, we recently have published paper in Aging, in the United States Aging Impact journal, about polyphenol effect on lifespan. It increases lifespan and decreases spontaneous tumor incidence. It's very important as well, because very non-toxic drug, very cheap, available. It could be used for everybody.
You work in this field for about 40 years, if I'm not mistaken, right? And what other promising fields there are in aging research right now, apart the ones that you have mentioned already?
I think that work with genetic modification could be fruitful but very dangerous, because from my experience and for contact with people who work with modification, there are complex. One gene is not one effect, because current paradigm, one gene, one effect. But we have found that mice, transgenic mice with HER2 oncogene, it is mammary cancer oncogene, they have a lot of signs of what feature of accelerated aging. I was very surprised. In nervous system, estrous cycle, reproductive activities switch off much earlier. It means organism too complicated. Then it's impossible to use one approaches to lifespan prolongation to everybody. It's necessary to pay attention person, metabolism, hormones, because only individual approaches could be effective. Because some people have genetic defect, some predisposed to diabetes, some predisposed to Alzheimer, some predisposed polymorphism. Genes is very important. In cancer, we have experienced treatment of cancer patients using genotyping and gene polymorphisms. New method, GRIPS, give excellent result. In our institute, Laboratory of Molecular Oncology uses these approaches. End result of cancer treatment much better. I think it's necessary to use the same approach to lifespan prolongation. One important thing what we have to know, it's level of education at lifespan, because people with high level of education live longer. Scientist who was member of a National Academy of Science live longer than simple PhD doctors. Nobel Prize live longer than academicians. Actors, writers who got award, Grammy, Oscar, live longer than artists who not got some award. It's very funny, no, but it's real. We have huge population in our database.
It sounds really, really interesting. So probably it will be inspiring for people to achieve more and then to have a side effect, a longer life.
Yeah. One of the last intriguing results is the rate of tumor growth much less, much slowly in Doctor of Science in comparison to people who have only high school.
It sounds
Scientific
really, really
degree,
amazing.
doubling time of tumors, much less. Prostate. Cancer prostate.
And how you can explain such a phenomenon?
We have no explanation, because one of the possibilities, lifestyle is different in people with more higher education. Because it's well known the people who was graduated from college and university live 6 years longer in comparison who have only basic school. Length of teaching, studying, increased telomere. There are several papers. The length of telomere increasing each step of education level. It was published in good journal. I can give reference.
Thank you. It will be really exciting to read these papers. As you are working in this field for many years, do you feel that the perception of the subject of this topic is changing? I mean, public perception. How people perceive your studies? Do they start being more interested in slowing down the aging processes, or there is still a lot of skepticism? How do you think?
My feeling is much more interest to aging, because really people live longer than last century. In general, mankind faced new challenge. Last year it was 50 years of International Agency Research on Cancer, international institute belonging to WHO, who was focused on epidemiology and evaluation of risk of carcinogenic and then compounds carcinogenesis for humans. I have a suggestion to create international agency for research on aging, because national resource for each country is too expensive. Joint project could be done in more correct way, because best paper from NIA have some defects in design of experiment. I told it because I am very familiar with this project, but it was produced not people who was involved in cancer research. In cancer have good tradition to testing, good rule, very strict design of experiment. In gerontology, in aging research, people start to use treatment at different age, but not have control groups, not have autopsy, pathology, use different strain of animals. Some of them is not very good for testing, because extremely high incidence of some type of tumors. For example, black mice have tumors, leukemia in 50% in 2 years. It could affect result. Fisher rats, it's convenient for experiment because they smaller than Vista, cheaper, but they have 100% Lydigomas in male. It could affect result, because people never have 100% Lydigomas.
So your call will be to unite our efforts, I mean the efforts of the international community of researchers, in order to achieve more and to have better coordination.
Yes, I think so. Last congresses by Gerontology Congress, European and big Congress and World Gerontology Council, I proposed this, but no understanding. When we were with Daria in Geneva, I proposed this, but they have no response, because it's necessary to educate people, because it's most important challenge, because apart political, it's national safety, because if country will have only elderly people with disability, it will cost a lot of money. And the people, young generation, will need to take care of the elderly. But we need make harmonization, social medical and behavior part of our life. What if we will pay attention to each branch of gerontology, including clinical, geriatric, social, and biology of aging? We will have success.
Well, hopefully we will proceed exactly in this direction. And thank you so much for sharing your vision. I hope that it will help us coordinate better and achieve our goals of healthy longevity for all much sooner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.